Hey you guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I'm going to try and keep this one light. I'm going to try and keep this one positive, but I kind of do want to tell the story time. I think a major frustration for me and for so many other trans women is that so much of our journey and experience is often influenced by our ability to love and to be loved. That often seems to be one of the main things we focus on, or the main things people want to talk about. And it does become frustrating because obviously transitioning is really about you being authentic to yourself as opposed to finding a partner. But finding a partner is an important part of the conversation. So let's get into it. I met this guy like about 4 months ago. We're going to call him Levy. Now, Levy is from Scandinavia. I won't say which country because it really isn't important, who Levy is or what he did. It's more important how I dealt with it and the lessons that I was able to learn from this interaction. So, Levy jumps into my DMs and we start talking. Now, the way that I approach relationships and stuff is I really am open to talking to pretty much anyone because I don't like to only focus on physical appearance, because I really believe that someone at first glance may not necessarily be your physical type. However, they can be so good for you in so many other ways. So I'm always open-minded to talk to different types of people, even if it isn't the kind of person that I generally go for. You know what I mean? So I started talking to Levy, and he certainly seemed sweet enough. When you are talking to people in the beginning, it's very sort of chilled, it's very like laid back, and you talk to them and you talk to so many others. So he wasn't anybody that I kind of took seriously. He really, really wasn't somebody that I took seriously. So, in the beginning, as all guys do, he was very, hey, how are you? Like chatty and talking to me. Now, I found out that even though he's Scandinavian, he's actually working and living in Central Africa. And he's basically like a digital nomad that travels through, Africa, Asia, all of these different countries. Now, when we were talking, he seemed really interested to meet me. And there's something about when somebody is so interested in you, it almost makes you want them. I'm not going to lie, he definitely came across as just this sweetest, sweetest boy. And he was talking about, coming down to Cape Town and then eventually moving to Thailand together. So when I say he jumped into the DMs talking serious, heavy stuff, that's what he was doing. Like, he literally, initially when we started talking, he kept talking about how he wants to like come down to Cape Town. We'll spend a month together, maybe 3 months, maybe 2 months, and then we'll jet off to Thailand, to Southeast Asia, and live this dream. And at the time, and this is a problem with dating when you're dealing with depression. When you are dealing with depression, you may not be able to see the forest through the trees. It's wonderful when a man, jumps into your world and makes all of these promises, but those are just words until the promises are actually materialized. So, like, I was really excited to meet him. I did think that, going to Thailand after 2 months of knowing each other would be a little bit premature. However, I was really interested in him coming down. Like, we get to know each other, and then eventually we like, that whole thing. So I was just excited. It was, like, I was so excited about this boy because he gave me something to look forward to. I think the one thing that I loved about Levy is he has, like, just the way he speaks is very, very soothing. And I'm all about communication. If you have some good conversation for my ass, come to mama. So I was just excited. I mean, at the time, like, goodness, especially in March and April, I was just so depressed and self-destructive. So having him sort of come out of nowhere and start to give me attention and start to want to make plans with me made me feel really good. So I decided that I'm going to go down to Cape Town because I really needed to leave King Williamstown for my own mental health. So I leave, I come back to Cape Town, and oh gosh, it was so exciting because you're like, okay, I am at the precipice of something new, like, and I've been through this before. Like, I dated a British guy, he flew down, met him at the airport, and it was this incredible romance until it wasn't. And then I met an Italian guy, and like he came down to Cape Town, and it was this incredible romance until it wasn't. And the same with every other boy. So I've been down this road. But I still believe that, you can have 75 million disappointments. It only takes one yes to change the trajectory of your life. So I wasn't afraid of being disappointed. I wasn't being afraid of him not being all that he had said that he was. I just wanted to see him and see where things would go. So at this point, I am excited. Now, when you talk to somebody and they're planning to come down to your country and see you, it almost accelerates the conversation, and you find yourself like spending every like waking day like looking at your phone and waiting for this boy to talk to you. And you don't ever want to come across as though like you're being too needy or you're being too like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, oh fuck, like I was really excited about him. I was so excited about him. So now, at the beginning, like I said, there was no commitment from this boy. We were just talking, and he wanted to meet me. So if there's no commitment, my advice is talk to all of them until somebody commits. Now, there was an incident. There was an incident where basically on the dating site that I was on, my profile got blocked because I got into an altercation. I had words with a young man, and I said things that were that got me blocked. So I went crazy on his ass. So then, Levy sees that I'm no longer on the dating site, and it says that I'm banned. So, he asked me, he's like, oh goodness, what happened? So I told him, I had a fight with this boy on the dating site, but it is what it is. So then at this point, he's like, wait, are you still talking to other people? Now, I respond to him like he's 34 and I'm 31. We're adults. We've lived through the craziness of our 20s. So we should be at a stage where, we're more, I don't know. So I'm like, yeah, I'm still talking to other people because, you and me are not exclusive. And I still was on a dating site. So if I'm on a dating site, it means I'm talking to other people. So then he gets upset and he was like, oh, I'm just really disappointed. I didn't know that you moved that way. Now that was the first time that something was like just how he reacted just seemed off to me. But I apologized. I stopped talking to everybody else and I focused only on him, despite the fact that he was not my boyfriend, despite the fact he has not made any promises to me other than maybe moving to Thailand with me and living here with me for like months. You know what I mean? Other than that, no promises came from him. Now, you need to understand, in the 3 to 4 months that we've been speaking, it has been established and agreed upon that, he's going to stay in Cape Town for, over a month. And then see, like, he's basically going to stay here for a couple of months so that we can get to know each other. Now, the week before he lands, he tells me that he is going to go back to Scandinavia. I got a job offer, which is ironic because like 3-4 days before that, he had mentioned a job offer and told me how he hated Scandinavia and he never wanted to go back because of things that had happened to him. So I was just taken aback, like, just as you're about to arrive. So for me, it seemed like he met me online, gassed me up, told me all of these promises about, oh, I want to be serious with you. I want to see where this can go. And then before he lands, he tells me, nah, it's going to be for a week, fam. Now, if somebody lands, first of all, logic is lost to me. Why would you travel in the middle of a global pandemic with lockdown restrictions, South Africa having a new variant of the disease? And there is a potential that if the president of this nation makes a new law or announcement about lockdown, that, he could be stuck here for a month because of lockdown. So just logic was lost to me as to why somebody would spend 2 weeks spend a week, 1 week, Monday to Saturday in like a different country, and it just felt like he was a sex tourist. I remember when he said that, the only thing I could think of was Big Ed. Was Big Ed, like no neck Ed. That's the only thing I thought of. And I was like, okay, cool. Now at this point, I was still heavily invested in him because I did think something was going to materialize. I believed so much in my ability to win him over, and I believed so much in his ability to be a good person, that I felt that if we had this time together, there was no possible way things couldn't transpire, couldn't, result in a relationship. Girl. So before coming to Cape Town, he had to obviously do a COVID test, which he would have had to do on the Wednesdays so he could land on the Friday, or so he could leave on the Friday, or whatever. So he does that, but I found it strange that he didn't want to tell me when he was landing, what time he was landing. He didn't really confirm the day. All I know, it was between Saturday and Friday. That's all I know. One of those days. And I had assumed that, when he landed in Cape Town, that, I'd pick him up at the airport with this big old sign and like flowers and like, wrap my arms around him and help him, find an Airbnb, show him around the place. I'm local. Be your personal tour guide. I thought that's the image that I had. I thought it was just going to be fun and that's how it was going to start. It didn't. So on Saturday, we're supposed to meet, but I don't know if he's landed in the country and he's not responding to me. So I'm not one to put pressure on anybody. I think, give people the space to breathe, and they will come back to you when they're good and ready. So that was my sort of mentality with him. Now, he contacts me at about, I think 3 or 4, and he's like, he's landed, and I'm like, oh, are you at the airport now? So he's like, no, he just wanted to do the whole airport thing by himself, and he wanted to check in by himself. Great. Everyone is different. When you're on a flight and it's been difficult, even though it literally is from Kenya, Uganda girl. It's not from Japan, so there's no jet lag. But it's understandable that after a flight, you're going to have a lot of jet lag, or you're going to be tired and you're going to need to regroup, so that you can be presentable the next day when you see this person. Cool, whatever. So I leave him, so we don't meet on Saturday, which we were supposed to. So on Sunday, we are supposed to meet at like 1, like early, just so we can make the most of the day. So I contact him and he's telling me that he's having all these problems with the Airbnb. Now, I will make a point. He did ask me to stay with him while he was in Cape Town. I wanted to first meet him, get his vibe, and then if I thought, he was like, girl, I know it's crazy, but that's what we were talking about. So I found it strange that, he lands on the Friday. I only see him on the Sunday. Well, he might have landed on the Saturday. I don't know. Like, I don't know. He didn't tell me anything. He doesn't tell me anything. So, yeah, like, on Sunday is the day we're supposed to meet. Girl, I wasn't ready. I literally wasn't ready. So he keeps telling me that there are all these issues with the Airbnb, and the Airbnb needs to be perfect so that we can have our privacy and we can do our things in private. But he kept pushing privacy, 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 privacy. And to me, when a guy is so concerned about privacy, that screams down low. That screams discreet. That screams, I have secrets and I don't want people to know about you. But I give him the benefit of the doubt and I go. So the Airbnb was in the most randomest places. I did not even know there were Airbnbs in that area. It's not necessarily like the nicest part of Cape Town or the safest part of Cape Town. Again, it's objective, but just for me, I was just kind of like, where am I? So, he, like, I message him and I'm like, I'm outside and scared. Where are you? So he comes out of this, like, zinc gate. Like, he opens this, like, zinc gate that makes a noise. And he comes out. So obviously I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh. Like, I want to wrap my arms around him. And, like, I'm so excited to see him. Cold. He's immediately standoffish. He doesn't even hug me. And, oh my gosh, it was so weird. Now at this point, I'm going to try and say this without attacking the character of Levy, because at the end of the day, like, I have nothing against him. But at this point, I walk in. He hadn't showered that day. So Levy hadn't showered that day, and he hadn't brushed his hair. His hair was oily, and obviously, if you don't shower and you are a strapping young man or a man in your 30s, you're gonna sweat, and by the time it's 6 o'clock, almost towards the evening, if you haven't showered at all during the duration of that day, it means that towards the evening, your smell is going to be very, very strong. So, and I just feel like my issue with guys that date us is that they don't even put their best foot forward. They literally throw any foot with gangrene and, like, fungi, girl, at you, and you're supposed to take it. Now, he had stressed that he wanted to stay at, like, this perfect Airbnb that was gorgeous, and I kept saying, there are so many cheap Airbnbs. Don't, like, get the most expensive. You know what I mean? He definitely did not. A lot of South African homes have servant quarters. Think about that. So it'll be this big house or this average size house, and then it'll be the servants' quarters. And servants' quarters are often designed with little thought of the person who is actually going to live in them. They're often very, very cold, very, very cramped. servants' quarters. You know what I mean? It's not luxury. So for this man to put out money to stay here was beyond me. I mean, there are Airbnbs in Bantry Bay, which is where the millionaires live, for 350 Rand, which is like what? What, $30? So how much should he pay for to live in the servants' quarters? Nothing wrong with that if you do, but for him to make it seem like he wanted the best of the best, but he's going to be shacked up in someone's servants' quarters with a whole zinc ass door, that just was strange to me. But I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm happy to see him. Maybe it's just he's nervous. Maybe it's just he's nervous and he's just a little bit flustered right now. So I give him his space. He's on his phone the whole time. Makes absolutely no eye contact. He's on his phone. He gave the weirdest hugs. But to be honest, I was glad when those hugs would end because, girl, like, I had to hold my breath. Girl, he was sweaty, musty, everything. So, like, it just was not a cute look for me, and I didn't understand. I would just assume, like, if you've been speaking to somebody for months on end, you want to be presentable. You want to be attractive for the other person and make them know that, you know, they made the right decision by choosing you. But no, like, a lot of trans attracted men, especially toxic men, capitalize on the fact that transgender girls are so needy and vulnerable, and they capitalize on our pain because we've been through so much and because we face so much rejection. They bank on the fact that they can behave in any other type of way. They don't have to treat you the way they would treat a genetic woman. Now, he cooked for me, which would have been romantic if he knew how to cook. Now, he does not like spices. He does not like seasoning. He basically, like when he cooks pasta, he wants to take the pasta, put the pasta in the water, and boil the water, and just eat it like that. And when he eats the chicken, he just takes the chicken, puts it in the water, and you just cook it like that, girl. And I'm supposed to eat it. Wow, you have me all the way fucked up. I'm black. Girl, don't mess with my chicken. Don't, like, the blandest of the blandest of the blandest. I just was so, no man has ever, like, put in such little effort. I seriously just sat there processing all of this. You know, like I ate, I tried to engage him, I tried to engage and like talk and find out, you know, what he was feeling and all of that. Nothing. He's on his phone until he's like, he wants us to do an HIV test. So doing HIV tests is very, very important. You need to get tested. So I agree. And I'm like, well, there are a lot of pharmacies that we can go to just around this area even. So yeah, let's do it. He pulls out a self-testing HIV test. Cool. I have no issue with that. I'm like, I have never tested myself, but I have been tested. Have you done this before? No, never. So we're fumbling around for about 10 minutes with this self-test kit. And after 10 minutes, I'm just like, this isn't working. Let's just go to the pharmacy. It's cheaper, it's convenient, it's quick. And he's like, no, I already spent my money. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know. So another 10 to 15 minutes, we're fumbling around with it, and he realizes it's not going to work. So he's like, yeah, let's just go to a pharmacy, which, duh. And then he's like, so I'm like, yeah, like, but it is important to get an HIV test. It is important. And he's like, yeah, yeah. Do you mind also getting a gonorrhea test and a syphilis test? Now, I have nothing against being tested. I think people should get tested. I think we need to normalize testing. But I was like, I don't mind. Like, we can both go together and both get tested as long as you know the results take like 4 days and you know you're not even going to be here for that long. So at this point, the conversation fizzles out, and I just couldn't sit in that cold ass room. It was just such a weird dichotomy, like how such a cold, because sweat, you associate sweat and mustiness with hot elements and the hot sun and like all of these men just sweating. Never in my life have I sat so cold, but being like, and he's stinking up the whole damn ass place. So fine, cool, whatever. Why do I do these things to myself? Because I feel like, girl. So I come back to the apartment very, very like perplexed as to what his actual intentions are. He lied about the time he would spend here. He only wanted to see me late at night, close towards the evening. He brings up the STD test late at night. When that doesn't work, I can leave. Doesn't that spell 2 letters? DL? I mean, his ass might be a blonde, blue-eyed Viking, but DL, girl, DL. So I get back to my apartment and I speak to some of my friends. Ironically, I speak to Susie and Matthias, and both of them are from Sweden. So it was interesting to sort of get their insights. And even they were like, no, people have been watching in Sweden, girl. What are you talking about? So, Matthias basically thought that the guy was just a waste of space and air, and he was like, don't go back. You don't have to see him. Like, just cut him off. And I wanted to, because, I mean, having met him and actually experienced his personality, that conjoined with his actual physical appearance was too much. I'm not going to call him ugly, but he's not somebody that, he's basically like, I want you to imagine if Dexter from Dexter's Lab was a teenager, but had, you know, a lot of eczema on his face, you know, dandruff, and like, you like, I'm not, I want to be honest about what he looked like and why I didn't find him attractive. But I want to make it known that when I first met him, or when I first started talking to him, he had some great pictures on his dating profile. He had some great pictures on his dating profile. And, you know, before we met, he never wanted to video call, and I thought that's just because he has bad internet, you know. And actually meeting him, and for the person in front of me to look slightly different from the pictures that I'd seen, and to also have such a terrible ass personality, that was just like, no. So, but I felt guilty because it was his birthday. It was going to be his birthday, you know, in the week. And we had said, you know, we're going to celebrate your birthday together. I just remember thinking, like, it's the right thing to do to at least see him on his birthday. Just make sure you see him in the afternoon. Don't see him at night. And you can see him at a coffee shop. You know, at this point, I was very much like, let me just keep my distance. And it was weird because at some point we had been talking about children and having a family. You know, when it gets deep, it gets deep. But after meeting him, he was not anything like I expected him to be. Nothing like the person I was speaking to. And I just couldn't accept that. So fine, he wants us, after this horrible, horrible ass meeting, to like meet up on Monday at like 1 o'clock. So I get ready to meet him. 1 o'clock comes and goes, and he apparently had to go to the airport to go do something for COVID. So cool. I understand. I let it go. So he's all like, later then at like 6, do you want to meet up then? I just couldn't, because I felt like, why do you only want to see me at night? Now, Tuesday, the same thing happens. Now, at this point, to be honest with you, the minute he told me he was only going to stay for a week, that's when I opened up all my dating profiles again. That's when I really started to talk to other people again, because I knew in my heart that nothing is going to come from this, but I can still meet him and maybe we can have some type of friendship. After actually meeting him and seeing so many signs, I couldn't be bothered. I wasn't physically attracted to him. He had this horrible, awkward personality. And he was just dirty. He was just dirty. I mean, like, I don't want to say like repulsed, and it's nothing against his physical appearance. It was just how he presented himself, just the way he was and acted, and I wasn't feeling it. So I was glad that, he had all these excuses. He has to go to the airport each and every day. I'm like, cool, girl. Like, I'm not even going to fight you on that, because that makes no damn sense. So then, on Wednesday, we're supposed to meet and celebrate his birthday. So this was yesterday. Now, I call my friends and I tell them about the situation, and all of them were like, stay away from him. He's like nonsense. Mateo is one of like, yeah, no. They were not having it. But I decide that, you know what? It's very difficult for me to let go of people, especially if they haven't done anything to me that's over the top. Like, for me, you really have to do something drastic in order to hurt me. Cool. So I get ready. We're going to meet at 1. And there was this guy that I talked to. I talked to like a year ago, and we started chatting up again because he saw me, online. And he's an Uber driver. Now, I'm well aware that he had a crush on me, so I thought, hey, like, seeing as nothing is ever going to happen with, with Levy, let this guy drop you off. We can have some conversation, And yeah, so the Uber driver comes and he picks me up. Of course, it's a free ride because, he just wanted to talk to me and to just hang out. So, like, I get in the Uber, right? And oh my gosh, when I say, from the minute I got into that Uber, the conversation was just flowing. And this guy, like, he was just so everything that, you want in a guy. And it was such a random kind of like encounter, because I'm busy focusing on the fiasco that is Levy. And then, like, on my way to Levy, I end up using this guy's Uber, and I don't know, like, we end up getting coffee. Girl, it was that deep. We end up getting coffee, and, like, we're just chilling somewhere. We actually thought of, like, going to, like, a cafe, but at that point, it was, like, 10 minutes to 1, so we only had, like, 10 minutes together. And I'm sitting in the car, like, what kind of parallel universe is this? Like, I really just want to spend the day talking to you, but now I have to go see Levy. And I don't want to. And it was so hard for me because, like, you don't want to hurt and disappoint Levy, even though, he's proved himself to be a DL dude. Girl didn't even wash his dick. All of that. It was just so frustrating. But anyways, at 15 minutes past 1, I'm like, I probably should go. I look at my phone, and Levy being Levy, he canceled because he had to go to the airport. And I just thought, yes, go. Please go. Please go. Like, I mean, obviously he's lying. By the way, I saw him on Tinder, but we move. So he's like, he's at the airport. So I'm like, great, cool. Like, we can meet later. And he's like, how about 5? I'm like, sure. Because I know I'm not gonna leave my apartment to go see Levy. That was the last attempt that I would ever make to reach out to him or to talk to him or anything. I was pretty much done, and what made it easier to be done was the fact that, like, I met this guy and we had such a great conversation. So I turned to him and I'm like, okay, so my date just flaked on me. So he has the biggest smile on his face. And he's like, okay, well, that works for me. And we just continue talking. And I think at like 2 o'clock or whatever, he had to go to another part of Cape Town to go pick somebody up because, and he dropped me off. Girl, when I say I made out with that boy like no one's business, because you have to understand, like, when I started talking to Levy, like, based on his pictures, like, initially it was a no, but as I got to know him, it was a strong yes, and I would, like, think about him. So, if there's 3-4 months in the making, you're wanting to meet this person, like, you're going to be very, very frustrated and very, very, like, in that mood to make out with someone. So Levy wasn't, providing. So I made out with the Uber driver, and it was excellent. We exchanged, exchange numbers. We do all it well. We had each other's numbers, anyways. But basically, at the end of the conversation, we're like, okay, I'm gonna message you later tonight to make sure you're okay. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I come back to my apartment. I'm happy. Like, I kind of feel like I love these unexpected meetings when you're busy doing something else and then somebody just. So the reason I keep looking at my phone is we're going to get into the fight that I had with Levy. So at this point, it's Wednesday. We only have Thursday, Friday, and then he leaves on Saturday. I was not about to be his little exotic adventure. It wasn't going to happen. I wasn't in the mood. So he tries to call me. Let's look at the time. So the days that he's been here, he has had, he's had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and, well, obviously Wednesday or whatever. And he would only contact me when it was 2-6. Like, he sends me a message. And he's all like, oh, he kept moving from his Airbnbs because everywhere was unsafe. And I just found that very, very strange. Like, yes, Cape Town is a dangerous place. I found it strange that, there's so many safe places in my complex. I basically live in a gated community with 24/7 security. And he didn't want to come see me. You know what I mean? I had to be the one to go see him. And, I'm not saying that I live in a mansion, but I don't live in a tin shack. And he could have easily made some effort to come see me, or we could have met at a neutral place. But no, he only wants to see me late, like when it's close to night. Now, so he's like, oh, I booked another place. And then he tells me the address. So I'm like, oh, okay, goodness. I'm really sorry that you're having such a difficult time with this. Okay, if it's not safe, then the best move is to cancel it. I really hope that you are safe wherever you are, comfortable, sending light and love. Anyone who knows me knows that once I speak in a very diplomatic and emotional way, I'm telling you to leave. You know what I mean? So he's like, yes. And then he's like, the new location is closer to you. See you there. Did I say I was coming? Then he tries to call me, sends me a message, arrived. So then after an hour and 20 minutes, because I didn't want to answer my phone and I was watching a documentary, I'm like, hey, Levy. So he's like, hi. And I'm like, hope you like the new place. Sorry for missing your calls. What's up? I wasn't going to be like, oh, when am I coming? No, I literally wanted to act as though I was oblivious to everything. So he's like, yes, come. I'm cooking dinner. Dinner that is the blandest of the bland, cooked in water. I'm not about to eat chicken with no spice. Are you crazy? So I tell him that, I'm not, unfortunately, I won't be able to come at this point just because of security and it was late. I didn't want to, but basically I was like, unfortunately, I won't be able to come. But since you're so close, maybe we can do something tomorrow when we are both free. Hope you enjoy your dinner though. Tell me why he says, but you can spend the night if you want. That's when the fight began. And I told him that, sorry, I'm simply not comfortable with that. Now at this point, he sends me a message saying, that doesn't make sense. Okay, what are you comfortable with? And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm just going to be honest with this boy and tell him how I'm feeling. He has, since the moment he landed, continually canceled plans, canceled. He lied about the duration of his trip, and he's like, oh, it's only going to be a week. And in that week, he wants to see me on the Wednesday, and he knows he's leaving early on the Saturday, meaning he only wants to see me on the Wednesday night. I told him that, and even the fact that he didn't want to ever be seen with me. He kept saying that he needs privacy. He needs us to have alone time. He didn't even want to go to the pharmacy for an HIV test because of how much fear he had of being with a trans person. And I wasn't seeing it, but at that moment, I could see it because I wasn't clouded by the smoke screen of love. I could see who he was, and he wasn't a good guy. He wasn't even attractive for that point. So I told him, no, I feel like you're not interested in me. I don't even know if you're attracted to me. So I'm not going to invest any type of energy towards you. It stops here. What kept me going was the fact that it was going to be your birthday and I would feel bad. But that's not my burden. It's not my responsibility. I don't care. And then he says, okay, I understand. Now a lot of things make sense. So I'm like, I'm glad that things make sense for you, sweetheart. And he says, I understand where the catalyst is of your inner suffering. I can't force anyone to change. The one thing I've always hated about men is when they try to gaslight you by throwing together a couple of English words and trying to confuse you with certain meanings, making it seem like they are intellectually above you. And because they are intellectually above you, they are emotionally mature and all of these things, and you are being the childish one. Let me tell you something, Levy. Let me literally fucking tell you something, brah. I've gone through guys like you all of the time. Like I've gone through God's life. And the crazy thing is, because it gets worse, he starts to like attack me and like all of that. I attack him too, girl. I attack him too. But he basically, like, the thing is, I've been through too much in my life. I've been through guys like this. I've had to fight people trying to stab me. I was almost abducted. I had to fight a corporate giant. What makes you think I'm going to be afraid of fighting some DL dude? Like, that I don't even want. I already met a guy earlier. Like, I was already talking to other people. I had moved on. It's just, it was, anyways. So he's like, I can't force anyone to change. I respond, you don't need to. And he says, when you are not chasing your dreams 1,000,000 miles an hour, stagnation causes the demons to feast upon you. So I respond, I'm not sure what you mean by that. And he says, I was there, and I wish for everyone, English is incorrect. I wish for everyone who is down to get back up on their feet. The first half of your voice message was futile, as I already mentioned that I cleared up my workload just to meet up for today. That's something that you do before you plan a trip, you idiot. Like, who in their life has ever, in the middle of a pandemic, decided that they're going to fly to Africa and know that they're still inundated with work? Make it make sense. It's such a dumbass. Girl, I'm about to start swearing, so if you don't like swearing, this is the time to click off. But I know that I'm not the belly button of the world. The world does not revolve around me. It doesn't. But I understand I have to do things fast-paced because I'm flying out in a few days. Yeah, 2 days. I don't know what I did during the last meeting to cause confusion. I honestly was trying to be there for you. And I genuinely tried to help you by giving you medicine. Strepsils. I was clearing my throat. And then he's like, oh, are you sick? So I'm like, no, my throat's just, So he gives me Strepsils. Strepsils cost don't they cost 8 rand? Don't they cost 8 rand? Someone tell me the price of Strepsils. That's not medicine, it's candy that you can. I just want to get through this. I don't want to actually respond to all of this. Bruh, go away. I'm not angry at you, even though you made this decision amid unpredictably deciding not to come. I think we two vastly different individuals. We are two vastly different individuals. I personally am not looking for marriage or having children, despite the fact that we had a conversation where he talked about wanting to have kids, talked about wanting to get married, talked about wanting to go to Thailand. This is what these men do. They tell you what you want to hear, and then when an altercation comes up, that's when you start to see the truth, the true layers of their being start to come up, and you see what you're dealing with. A whole Levy. I would keep me near the cross. Keep me near the cross. Keep me near the cross. I would much rather have a stable life with someone like you in Southeast Asia. This country is not very suitable for such relationship. What relationship? People in South Africa have been getting into relationships. Bruh, we need to calm people down because they keep everybody in South Africa is hooked up and hooking up. What are you talking about? That the country is not safe to have this kind of relationship. What I think he meant was a relationship with a trans person. Let me tell you something. Jimmy dated me. We went everywhere. We never had problems. Never had problems. Me and Matthew. Well, except when we got robbed. But that had nothing to do with being trans. That was just us being drunk. Me and Mario. No, 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 no problems. So what are these problems? This country is not very suitable. It's a very dangerous country. I cannot stop working for 1 week. A lot of things depend on decision making. I don't think you can look at things from my point of view the same way as a regular car driver cannot suddenly drive a Formula One car at the top speed. It's just impossible. But that enables me to travel. That enables me not to fall into anger over spending the money to come here. It's nothing really, just a pocket change. Don't say a, just pocket change. Ah. That's a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. He wouldn't have stayed in a granny flat. He wouldn't have stayed in the servants' quarters if he had money. Like, if he had money, it's a lie. Is even that self-testing kit, I swear he bought it off the street from one of these vendors, girl. And he says, anyways, I think you are not able to share the long-term vision that I had for us. Why is it all about your dreams? No matter how many times I would meet you, no matter where I would meet you, no matter how I would conduct myself or what clothes I would wear, because deep inside you've already made your choice. I have. Like, I canceled this dude. I have no doubt about it. I'm just confused by the dichotomy of calling me sweetheart while pushing me away. I call everyone sweetheart. You can literally go onto every video that I've ever made. And when I say thank you to people, I'm like, oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. You're such a sweetheart. It's just a word that I use. Him and me did not have copyright over the word sweetheart. It's just a word that people use. Africans are very, very warm. I'm African. We're very warm people. Maybe that's just your style. Maybe it's dualism. I don't know. It's a beautiful thing to be trans and to embrace beauty and femininity. I asked him if he was embarrassed of me being trans, because the first thing he said to me was about my profile picture, like, wow, it looks so nice. You look feminine. And I just thought that was the weirdest compliment. It's a backhanded compliment. You wouldn't say to a woman, oh, she looks feminine. She's supposed to look feminine because she's a woman. No, he saw me as a man and dress up. But I digress. Unfortunately, most of the world is looking at things in a very transactional way. That being said, I have no personal grudges against you. I always wish the best for you. So he said, the world is looking for things in a transactional way. The nature of relationships is give and take. It's reciprocity. You know, it's give and take. You need two people to hug each other. You need two people in order to have sex. It's reciprocity. And I'm not angry with you, even though I feel like you completely wasted my time by not keeping your commitment. So he's like, wasted your time? Okay, then. So he's like, actually, let's face the facts. So he said, yesterday, we agreed to meet at 1 p.m. Then I told you I was caught up at the airport, because he goes to the airport every day. Is somebody from, like, Scandinavia here? Like, do y'all, like, do you guys, like, go to the airport every day? Like, what's in the airport other than, like, moving from one city to another? Because if you want to buy something, they're malls. Yesterday we agreed to meet at 1 p.m. Then I told you I was caught up at the airport. No, bro, you were on Tinder. And agreed to meet at a later time. You then told me you wanted to meet at 5 p.m. To which I agreed. Bro, I said maybe we can meet at 5. If anybody ever uses the conditional if in a sentence, or maybe, bruh, don't even put makeup on. That person's not coming. Then you decided to cancel. Yeah, because that's how this relationship is. He cancels, I cancel. It's reciprocity. I canceled because I was not going to wait for your beck and call. I called you like 10 times. He called me 4 times, not 10. You just didn't pick up. I didn't pick up because I didn't want to. This is not the first time you canceled, nor would have been the last. I didn't because I know by now that you had another story. And he's like, excuse me? No, I think this is ridiculous. Girl, that's when I dug into him. I talked about like the fact that he didn't bathe when he met me, like really upset me. And he's like, there were some unpleasant things I didn't like, but I kept quiet about them. So I started smoking cigarettes, even though like I grew up Mormon, I hate smoking cigarettes. It's absolutely disgusting and it's destroying my voice. Please do not smoke if you're trans. But I smoke because I am going through stress. But I digress. So he was like, yeah, but I kept quiet about them. He later goes on and says, at least I don't smell like smoke the whole time. Okay, girl. Anyways, I'm like, so it's safe to say that I'm not the right person for you and you're not the right person for me. I wish you only the best. Hope you enjoy the rest of your time here. So then he says, I'll keep you as a WhatsApp contact. Want to ask you in a few years where you're at. Who says I still want to talk to you? How do you know I'm not going to block you? They capitalize on our insecurity. They capitalize on the fact that trans women have been just ripped apart, you know, so many times that they think they have this power. So then I basically told him, like, I sent him a lot of voice notes because I don't like typing. I just want to out. Like, typing is going to waste my time. The swear words don't come fast enough when you type. So then I swear at him and he's like, just to clarify something, I would not mind marriage because I asked him about that and I asked him about the Tinder. He's not going to answer the Tinder thing because he's a coward. Just to clarify something, I would not mind marriage and having daughters if I was in a relationship with a woman. I see exceptional relationships in exceptional ways, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's not anything to even get mad at. He was a sex tourist with no money who went to go stay in servants' quarters in the worst part of Cape Town. And yeah, bruh, like, I mean, he's so incredibly awkward that it would have never worked. It would have never worked. And the thing is, there's so many, they're actually like, there's so many like better people than him. There's so many better human beings. There's so many people that I could rather spend my time with. And I didn't care if he didn't see me as a real woman because I don't see him as a real man. I see him as an insecure child who can't remember to wash behind his ears. His teeth are falling out because, you know, he lives like a disgusting animal. I know that sounds harsh and I know that sounds very like Christabel, I never knew there was a side of you. There is this side of me. Like, I'm just not going to be the sweet, perfect, nice princess to everyone who gaslights me. I'm not going to accept that. So I'm like, all the best with that. I hope that it works out for you, sweetheart, and I hope that you find someone great on Tinder. Anyways, we're going around in circles. We have established we no longer want to see each other. Let's leave it at that. Take care. This is where I lost my shit with him because can you see that I've said, I literally actually want to show you the phone, like, but it's not gonna no, it's not gonna work. So he says, yes, I wish you all the best. As a final note, I would just advise you to avoid having a child. In my opinion, a child would only grow up a child should only grow up in the environment of biological mom and dad. Levy, what has your upbringing done for you? This boy was so bullied. He was so bullied because he's just awkward and weird. He was so bullied that despite the fact, like, and where was his parents during all of this? I understand guys like him who like uphold the patriarchy and white supremacy and see and come to Africa and Asia to find transgender girls because there is no European cisgender or transgender woman that would ever touch that. We live in a very materialistic, we live in a very like Instagram filled, how thin are you, how pretty are you, how white are your teeth world. So for an animal that looks like that to literally tell me that, you know, like I'm not a real woman, like it's cool. You don't have to see me as a real woman because I'm not going to be anything to you. At the end of the day, he was the one. It frustrates me because he was the one who wanted to have sex with me, and he is a full bottom. He is a full bottom, like he's a full bottom that, and I don't want to say this and make it seem like there's anything wrong with it, but you need to understand he was one of those bottoms that, you know, want to wear lingerie, like women's lingerie and women's clothing while they're being penetrated by you with their booty up in the air screaming, ah, ah. And then you want to talk about how you want to be with a real woman. You're a real woman. You're a real woman. Like, I kind of feel like Levy is trans, but he understands he's never going to make the cut. So I rip into him. I say like, and then he's like, wow. And I'm like, thank you for the transphobia, goodbye. And he's like, where's all of that coming from? And he's like, I can look respectable when I choose to, goodbye. And yeah, like, I basically send voice notes where I'm berating him. I'm talking about his physical appearance. I'm talking about his dandruff. His dandruff, actually, it kind of looked like it's, I know it was the eczema. The eczema goes up till here. But the dandruff kind of looked like it was infusing with the eczema because on his forehead, it was just weird. I'd never seen anything like it. And, you know, the gray hairs and, you know, he was musty and he didn't bath. So yeah. So like I dig into him and I say every mean thing that I can say because the problem is like some of these men, they don't understand how strong we are. Before I transitioned, I was more of a man than that little boy. I was more of a man. I was more of a man before I transitioned. I was able to get through being stabbed, being abused, like being taken advantage of, girl, like horrible things, fighting people, like fighting people in the corporate world, still standing on my own 2 feet. I know how to fight. So if you're a DL guy and you want to fight, if you want to fight with a fool, do it. I'll drag you down to my level and beat you with experience. I'll drag you down to my level and beat you with experience. I mean, I'm mad because of the time that I wasted on this idiot. But it doesn't, but like it doesn't matter because I kind of met somebody like when I was supposed to go on a date with him, so it's like whatever. And he's just not cute and ew. Like that's what made it easy to let him go because as trans women, like we find ourselves, you know, saddled with these horrible men who mean us no good. And we hold on to them because we can't let go because we're so afraid of being alone. Rather be alone than dealing with this fool. So he's like, let's end this. And I'm like, you don't look presentable ever. You literally stink, bro. Your whole body. And I'm like, and the eczema, fuck. Like, it's did you know how I honestly feel? Yes, the things he said made me a little bit angry. I'm not gonna lie, but I understand he didn't have any other material and he wanted to hurt me because, hey, if you're staying at a servant's quarter in a bad part of Cape Town, it means you don't have, like, it means, like, Cape Town's not doing it for you. Again, nothing wrong with that. But then don't act like Mr. Big Spender. Out here cooking bland ass pasta. And bland, my ancestors. Yeah, girl. My ancestors. And he's just, I don't know, like, it's not in my repertoire to keep company with beasts. Like, no, like, and what I want to say to you, because I know this video this to date is now my longest video. I want to tell you that these guys are not at your level. You know, we get so desperate trying to find somebody that these guys actually use that against us. And they think that by calling us men and by saying that only women should have children and that they only want to be with a woman. But he's a cross-dresser who can't even use his Johnson bra. Like, the reason he bottoms is because of his erectile dysfunction. I'm good. I'm good. I mean, look, if I was a full bitch, and I am, I would show y'all his picture, and I'd even say his name, because I just don't care, but my phone is busted and it's not that important. But what I want you all to know is that I love you, and you're gonna find love. It may not come from the arms of a man. It may even come from yourself, and you're gonna be fine, babe. You are going to be fine, but we need to start seeing the telltale signs. And for myself especially, because I'm the type of person, I don't like to hurt other people's feelings, and I try so hard to be a people pleaser. But don't try to please people to the detriment of yourself, because even before Levy said any of this nonsense, he was already doing some weird things. He was already just weird. Like, he was already Mickey Mouse. And I'm just not here for it. I love you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed my longest video. If you watched up until the end, I just want to thank you. To everyone who watches my ads, thank you. Oh my gosh. Like, I know, like, I'm not the kind of YouTuber who's going to jump in and be like, press like, watch all the... No, like, the message that I'm putting out there, I feel like, is more important than me making money off YouTube or Coca-Cola ads going up and down. But if you do, thank you. Thank you so much. Like, it really blesses me, and it is an exchange of energy. I hope to see y'all again. And let me know, you guys, because I think the past couple of months I've been making videos every, like, third day, pretty much. If you like this way that I'm making videos, like, twice a week, let me know, because my mouth never stops moving. And if y'all want the shorter formats, let me know. And if you have anything that you'd like me to cover, please let me know. Love you so much. All right, bye. All right, bye.